What's going on, fight fans? Welcome back for another episode of Kalani's Corner. I'm your host, Kalani Lua, here for FranchiseSportsMedia.com. We are at it again, this time from New York City, UFC 268. Two title fights on the line. But before we get into that, let's do a quick recap of UFC 267. Man, oh man, was that a banger in itself. We had two title fights on the line. Petr Yan, once again, the UFC bantamweight champion, he outlasts Cody Sandhagen in a terrific 5-round battle between the two. It was an excellent showing of Petr Yan. The pace he's able to put on people, where from round 1 to round 5, he does not let up. He is coming forward. He is pressing forward. He's putting you against the cage. He's never allowing you to settle. And you can see as the fight wore on with every other opponent, Cody Sandhagen had that moment of, this dude is the Terminator. He is not backing off. And even with his unorthodox style of offense, Petr Yan was not distraught from coming forward and accomplishing his goal, winning there. Terrific body shots, good combinations, got a few takedowns in there, was able to recapture the title. Now, at some point in the future, when Aljamain Sterling is healthy, Petr Yan, Aljamain Sterling will fight for the title once again. But Petr Yan, a two-time UFC bantamweight champion, congrats to him. And talk about congratulations. The oldest fighter in UFC history to win their first title, 42 years young, Glover Teixeira pulled off an amazing upset over former UFC light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz. Glover went in there straightforward, aggressive, smart in his attack though. He didn't go wild with it, but because of the training he's done over the years with boxing, the head movement, and let's be honest, Jan Blachowicz probably thought with his strength, nobody is going to press him and come straight forward. Glover did just that, knocked him around with some good hooks, had a good right hand that wobbled him in the first round, got him backing up, and really was the beginning of the end. Glover Teixeira putting him away with a TKO finish, and he is the new 205-pound king of the UFC. How long will his reign be? That doesn't matter right now. What we do know is Glover Teixeira, after all this time, 42 years old, took him 6 years to get into the UFC, is finally the UFC champion. My hat's off to you, brother. Now we're getting to UFC 268. Two title fights on the line as previously mentioned. First up will be in the co-main event, a women's strawweight bout between champion Rose Namajunas defending her title against Zhang Weili, the woman she took the title from. First time around, Weili was on an amazing tear in her UFC career. 19-1 overall with the record. Really had not been challenged very often in her fights. Rose Namajunas, a former champion, battle-tested, a veteran of the cage, goes in there, lands a tremendous head kick that drops her. Really one that I don't think even Weili was anticipating would be thrown at her. Gets caught, goes down. Rose, Thug Rose, as DC likes to call her. She is now the UFC champion looking to defend the title. She goes in there and pulls off this win against Wang Zhili. Rose Namajunas has to go down as one of the greatest women fighters of all time. She's already in the discussion. This right here would just be icing on the cake, a stamp of validation to say, yeah, I deserve to be in there amongst the GOATs of the GOATs. In the main event, get your popcorn ready. We have, for the second time around, Colby Covington challenging Kamaru Usman for the UFC welterweight championship. These two fought previously and gave us a 5-round war. It was one of the greatest fights in championship history in the UFC and really of all of MMA. These two are very similar in their styles. Both have wrestling backgrounds. Both have wrestling backgrounds. So you would think, okay, two wrestlers going at it. They've worked on their stand-up. How's it going to go? Oftentimes in the world of mixed martial arts, when you get fighters who have two disciplines of the same, they cancel each other out. So if you get two strikers, yeah, you'll get a striking match, but generally one will probably look to engage in the grappling as to throw the opponent off. Well, this one, since both are grapplers, they said, hey, from start to finish, we going at it. We are throwing leather and we are throwing caution to the wind. We are just going to sit here and slug it out like rock'em sock'em. And that's what they did. They kept the pace up for 5 hard rounds. Both had moments of looking like they were going to just take that lead. At the end, Kamaru Usman got a 5th round TKO victory over Colby, but it was revealed. One Georgia scorecard had the fight going into the 5th, 3 rounds to 1. Kobe. Another judge, 3 rounds to 1, Kamaru. The third judge, 2-2. That's how close this fight was. So had it went to decision, who knows how it would have went. And that is part of what Kobe has been pushing, is that, hey, I wobbled this guy several times in the fight. If it wasn't for me going down due to a broken jaw, Kobe Covington gets his jaw broke and still fights another round and a half. It was about the mid to end of the third round. He gets his jaw broke from a right hand. It wasn't noticeable in the particular fight. It wasn't like when he hit it, his jaw, did a Matrix 360 and just, no, but you definitely saw that as it went on, his mouth was open a little bit more, and Joe Rogan commentating saying something might be wrong because, he was kind of rubbing a little bit, but nothing too severe where you would think, oh, he's got a fractured jaw. No, but Kamaru Usman went in there and showed, I'm not just a wrestler. I will stand here and bang with anybody, and I got the power to put you down, and that he did. These two have this heated rivalry. Kobe Covington, a tremendous story, none to say the least. At one point, was going to get cut by the UFC. UFC basically said, look, your fight style is not really that entertaining. You don't really draw enough for us. The fans aren't talking about you, and we're going to look to move on from you. We're going to cut you. He goes to Brazil, fights Damian Maia, puts on a very good match against Damian Maia, wins. Afterwards, cuts a pro wrestling style heelish promo calling Brazil a dump. The people are all trash. It's America, and he just went over with it. That got him so much heat. The UFC was like, well, we got to keep him around. And as time went on, Kobe was just doing this self-promotion. He took on the pro Donald Trump, or former President Trump, of, hey, make America great again. He was walking around with Donald Trump Jr.'s book, these cheap looking suits. He even had one that was all orange, like it was Dumb and Dumber, going around talking about, hey, I'm going to make the welterweight division great again. And at the time, he was trying to call out a match with Tyron Woodley. Didn't happen, just the way the rankings work. Kamaru Usman got the title shot. Kamaru goes in there, dominates Tyron Woodley. He gets the title. Now these two are headed on a warpath. So that's Kobe Covington's side. Ever since then, he's turned things around against fighters like former champions Robbie Lawler, Rafael dos Anjos, Tyron Woodley, which later he fought. He has shown, hey, I'm not just a guy who can talk. I can legit come in here and fight with the best of the best. His cardio is second to none within the division, maybe the Kamaru Usman, but still, he's another one, just like Peter Yan I spoke about. He puts on a fantastic pace where he's constantly coming at you. He doesn't hit you tremendously hard. He doesn't try to put all of his weight and strength behind the punch. What he does is he peppers you up a little bit with his combinations. 1-2, 1-2, bam, bam, bam. And with that pressure and constantly nagging on you, bam, 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 hitting you with body shots, a leg kick here, bam, 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 boom, takedown, some shots here. It just wears on you and wears on you. And by the end, he may not have did the most damage on you to where you come out looking like you were in a car wreck, but you physically feel like, I just got hit with 3 sledgehammers all over my body. It was a tremendous showing from my opponent here, who apparently is not just a big talker. No, this guy can legit fight. So Kobe Covington, like his personality, don't like his personality, he is a legit threat and an absolute beast in the octagon. Kamaru Usman has his own tremendous story. Migrated here to the U.S. from Nigeria. Unfortunately, had an incident with his own father that ended up going to jail on a very minor incident, but it is what it is. He ends up going to prison for 9.5 years. Kamaru Usman having to learn how to, having to adapt without his father in his life, goes on to becomes a Division II national champion at wrestling, an Olympic alternate, gets into the world of mixed martial arts, starts working his way up, wins the Ultimate Fighter season 17, I believe he was on, wins that. As he slowly progresses throughout his UFC career, you start noticing this guy's undefeated. Hardly loses any rounds. Doesn't get tired. Gets better and better every time we see him, to where by the time he fought Tyron Woodley, complete fighter. Complete all around, hence his tremendous performance. And ever since then, Kobe Covington, Gilbert Burns, 2 times Jorge Masvidal, he has shown, I am absolutely the best 170 pounder in the world. He's in the conversation right now. Win or lose against Kobe, I might be up there with George St. Pierre for who's the greatest welterweight champion of all time. Now, if he beats Kobe Covington, especially if he does it in fascinating form, if he does it in exciting way, he could definitely put his name up there as one of the all-time greats to hold the welterweight championship. So these two rivals, these two bitter feuds, they get into the press conference today. They end up pushing each other. So these two going at it is going to be an absolute war. Cannot wait to see what Usman and Covington 2 brings us. Will they employ the same game plan? Hey, let's meet in the center of the cage. Let's throw leather. Is one going to say, you know what? Let me try to mix in a few strikes here. Let me try to move around, get in a couple takedowns, at least throw that out there to get my opponent thinking. That way I could fake a takedown. Their hands drop to try to block it. I could come over in an overhand right and an overhand left. We shall see what game plan both of these guys employ for their second go around. Now that's the main event and the co-main event. A third main event, or at least a fight that is worthy of a main event, is going to be the opening fight of UFC 268's main card. Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. Folks, I'm telling you this right now, this is a car wreck waiting to happen. It's like that Fast and the Furious 7 scene where Jason Statham is in one car, Vin Diesel's in another, no one's putting reverse and no one's hitting the brakes, and we are going to collide. These two right here have shown throughout their careers they are willing to take a hit to give a hit. They are willing to kill or be killed. These guys come at you, heavy fist, no stopping, no backing up. Justin Gaethje has shown outside the UFC when he went 17-0, and inside the UFC against Tony Ferguson, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Dustin Poirier. Does not matter who it is. I'm going to keep coming forward. I'm going to look to knock you out, or you're going to knock me out. Either way, I'm going out on my shield or raising my shield. Michael Chandler, he's only had one fight in the UFC, so two fights, in the UFC so far, and he's 1-1. But he has shown both times, I got tremendous power. I could fight with the best. I eliminated Dan Hooker very easily in the first round. Charles Oliveira, who is the UFC lightweight champion, I almost defeated him, but he was able to hold on, then put a submission on me and got me. Hey, the guy's got the most submissions in UFC history. No fault there. These two, Gaethje and Chandler, going at it, it's going to be blockbuster. This is going to be dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, highlight reel written all over it. Definitely want to make sure that you tune in for that as well. Now, if for whatever reason you say, hey, you know what? MMA's cool. Kind of want to watch some more fights. I want to see what else is out there. We also got from Las Vegas, Nevada, Canelo Alvarez returning to the ring. He is looking to unify the middleweight championship belt against Caleb Plant. That is going to be an excellent fight. These two already have the heated rivalry going on amongst themselves. Boxing, look, boxing never went anywhere, but there definitely was a down point where people were more interested in other avenues of combat sports. Fights like this is what keep the fans interested and everything. So Canelo Plant, that is going to be a huge fight as well. So you got UFC 268, Canelo versus Plant. Hey folks, we got combat sports galore this particular weekend. So be sure to tune into those fights and come back here to FranchiseSportsMedia.com to get the latest, and not just combat sports, but all your sports. This has been Kalani's Corner. I'm your host, Kalani Lua. Until next time, folks, stay classy. Talk to you later. Peace.